We're moving now to Rodney Christopher, who is part of the social investment practice at the FB Heron Foundation. Floor is yours.
Okay, so I have a great privilege, actually, to be part of the FB Heron Foundation at this time. As some of you in the room know, the Heron Foundation actually has a history of being sort of breaking out, if you will, in terms of how philanthropy is practiced. And what I want to do is actually read from our soon-to-be-released new website so that I can't say it better than this, so give me just a moment here. It says, "The world has changed, and so must we. Our mission is to help people and communities help themselves prosper, especially those that are economically disadvantaged. We are looking for ways to help rebalance the economy so that it ensures opportunity for all, which is a critical responsibility not only of philanthropy and government, but of business and investors. This is really important to me. We invest in enterprises as if people matter. To do that, we're investing 100% of our assets for mission. We are tax status agnostic in whom we invest, and we are investing all forms of capital, not just financial." So what the heck does that mean? As I said, I do feel quite privileged to be part of this. And so what I'll say is a couple things. We see ourselves as a provider of capital to enterprises, and we don't care what your tax status is. We want you to be in the business of achieving impact and having a financial return. Now, our for-profit investments, if you will, are going to be always in the sort of public markets. We will continue to participate in those markets, but we are holding our investments to a higher standard, and that's really important to us. And we're attempting to build and contribute to the infrastructure that allows the Heron Foundation, as well as any other investor, to have a clearer vision into what the environmental, social, governance practices of the companies in which they invest, what those look like, so that financial return is not the only consideration when making an investment. On the nonprofit side, we're doing something a little different, and that's really where I focus my efforts. We are providing capital to nonprofits. We are asking them to tell us what a slug of capital, which is intended to be used over a period of time, how it can help the organization both achieve its social impact and generate net revenue for years to come. We are asking organizations to explicitly answer the question, how will you be a sustainable enterprise that allows you to achieve your mission? Which means that they now have to answer the question, what is a business plan and not just what is a strategic plan? We have no illusion that we're the first to attempt this. The world of venture philanthropy has been around since at least the mid-90s. We're sort of building on the work of folks like Ed McConnell Clark Foundation, Venture Philanthropy Partners in DC, and others. But we really are saying it's not just about the impact, it really is about the enterprise. And so one specific thing I'd like to offer to the room, whether you're nonprofit or for-profit, whether you're a philanthropist or an investor, when you think about the nonprofit sector, please remember that they are not just projects and programs, but in order to achieve their missions, they actually need to be enterprises. So that collectively, everyone has a responsibility to make sure that the question of what is your net revenue source going to be, and how are you going to build the balance sheet that allows you to be healthy over time, those are really critical questions I think the team at Heron is aiming to help the sector focus on. I'm just looking at my notes to make sure I didn't miss anything. On the for-profit side, our focus is on growth stage enterprises. Because jobs are so important, we have an essay about the world has changed and so must we that really articulates the notion that's not new, but that we're attempting to sort of feed our strategy, which is that if you want to help poor people, they should have jobs. It's really actually almost that simple. Obviously, it's not entirely, but you want to start there. And so we want to invest in enterprises that are, in fact, creating jobs that include people on the low end of the wage scale, and quite frankly, include is important because we don't want folks who are only employing people on the low end of the wage scale. We want our economy to always be inclusive because we believe that that's actually the way that things move forward in a more productive and sustainable way. I think I've hit most of what I wanted to say here. One more thing. On the nonprofit side, related to everything I've said, we often find that folks want to hear about impact. I just want to punctuate this. Impact cannot happen without enterprise. It is the belief at Nonprofit Finance Fund, where I worked for many years, and at Heron, that revenue, certainly in the nonprofit sector, and arguably in the fourth sector, I'm not quite sure I can say this yet because I'm not with you, I don't quite fully understand it, but that's okay. Contributed revenue, okay, if I had my druthers, society would actually embrace and support the notion that the nonprofit business model requires contributed revenue and always will. And if we just embraced that, we actually could achieve so many wonderful things. But we keep sort of forcing the question of how can you earn revenue? And arguably in the social justice field, I would actually prefer not to encourage people to spend a lot of time. If something presents itself, cool. But really, the amount of energy that's being spent in the nonprofit sector to create earned revenue out of something that doesn't really exist is energy that I would much rather say, how would you use a slug of capital to build out your capacity to raise revenue in an efficient and thoughtful way over time? That, to me, would be the appropriate use of capital in the social justice sphere. So thank you for catching my epic fail.
Thank you.